Number one then, and number one now.
You're listening to Heffron and Reed.
Heffron and Reed.
Rated number one podcast by the World Podcasting Federation and the Podcast Ranking Association. No, for real. It says it right here.
Lock it in and rip the knob off. You're tuned in to the number one show on the planet. The Heffron and Reed Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Heffron and Reed Show. I'm John Reed, of course. I'm the only one with this accent. And sitting next to me, as always, the man with the Detroit hat, rocking it. The one, the only, John Heffron, ladies and gentlemen, sitting in here, rocking the boards.
I hate doing the board.
I know.
I hate hitting these buttons. I hate adjusting the volume. Do you know who I am? I was on television. I was on television 7 years ago.
That's right.
This is above me to hit these buttons.
Okay.
Now I'm more concerned whether or not it's recording. That's a fear I have of mine during most of the show, by the way.
Do you
is
think
that
it's
we're
recording
doing
now?
It?
Are you? You're not sure?
Things are blinking.
50-50.
After every time we do one, you go like, I don't know if that recorded. Like, I don't know where that is.
It's the same way, like I've talked about it before. It's the same way when I leave my house going, I don't think I closed my garage door.
Oh, I didn't lock my doors. In my car. When you leave your car, you do the same thing.
But
you walk like 100 yards, you go like, dude, did I lock the car?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But more importantly, we got a huge show.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is a big one.
Huge show because the team's back together.
That's right.
Getting the band back together.
Rachel's back, everybody.
Here.
Off doing her Hollywood thing. She's best friends with Mike Judge.
Best friend.
She's best friends with everybody at the Howard Stern show.
He texted me randomly on a Saturday night, said, great job on Stern. I'm like, God damn. But I'm
Judge
home alone on a Saturday night with no money and nothing going on, and Mike Judge is fucking sending me text messages. That's life in L.A.
Well, hey, he's not sending me text messages.
I know. It's weird, though.
Does he have a project in mind for you?
No, he's working on some stuff right now, a spin-off of Idiocracy, if you've seen that movie.
That's a great movie.
Great fucking movie. And he was, like, so impressed that I knew, like, scenes from that movie.
Yeah.
And it was cool. But, yeah, no, he's working on a spin-off of that. And he told me, he's like, hey, I'll tell everybody about you. And if I'm working on anything, I'll use you.
Nice.
It's just weird. Like, I'm having these weird L.A. moments. Like, I met the producer of Modern Family the other night.
Right.
He knew me. Somebody was like, this is Rachel. He's like, Rachel Butera. Oh, my God. And I'm like, you fucking know me?
Obviously from this podcast.
Obviously. And I'm like, all these people know me. I got no job, no work, no money. Like, I'm ready to go back to New Jersey. I don't know, like, what the fuck I'm doing, but people know me everywhere I go. It's that weird thing.
Rachel, I think it's important. You're out here, but have you set goals? Hold on a second. Let's do this. Ready? Hold on. Ready? Hold on.
John is trying
Why
to
does
figure out
everything
the
John
the
Heffron
board.
do make me laugh? I don't know.
Here we go. Ready?
He reminds me of my brother.
Okay,
That's
here we
why.
go. Ready?
Oh.
Previously on the Heffron and Reed podcast.
Rachel, you're wasting your life. You gotta stop whoring around. Get out a piece of paper and actually write some goals, all right? Shit isn't just going to fall into your lap.
Well, Mom, if you had given me the confidence I needed when I was a kid, I would be doing it already.
You don't blame me.
I blame you for everything. You taught me to be scared of the world. The only reason I'm out in L.A. now is because Howard Stern took pity on me.
Listen, whore, you have to realize...
I wish I was a whore. I haven't been laid in months.
There we go. That's what you missed if you missed the last show.
Wow. Deep. I like it.
I thought you were going to jump in.
I didn't know if I should. I almost did. I was trying to think, what character should I be in this scenario?
It's a soap opera. So
almost walked in and said, Duck, I have the keys to the car. Would that have worked?
Yeah, should have, and that would have been our out. Anyway, so we have a great show.
Yeah, we have another guest.
We have another guest we want to get to because he wants to jump in. The guy who happens to be on our show, and we invaded his home today, which was nice, is my best friend Joel Zimmer.
Joel Zimmer, everybody.
This is your best friend? I didn't
My
know
best friend
that.
Joel.
Let's just start with that. Best friends for, 20 years?
20-some years.
Wow.
However,
Wow.
best friend, I find out his dog is gone by this podcast.
No.
Really?
Yes.
Men don't share.
Well,
as much
here's
as
the deal.
women
Like,
today.
He
Actually,
was
that's
too
not even
busy
true.
hunting for the dog.
That's not even true.
And eat that mic, Joel, because...
That's not even true. I found out from my wife through his Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's how I
even
found out.
worse.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny how you and Reep's wife always,
We're all,
you're finding out through Facebook.
they're trolling
so
your
far,
page.
everything's working perfectly.
Your
They
plan
think
is
that's where they're getting all the information. But actually, real quick, heads up on Joel, is I started doing stand-up comedy with Joel 100 years ago. We moved out to Los Angeles together. Roughly, I'm skipping a bunch of stuff. And then I got a job doing radio back in Detroit with Bonaducci. And then I called Joel and said, Joel, you should come and produce our show. And I convinced Bonaducci Joel knows how to produce a radio show with zero. Joel had no.
Oh, nice.
Completely. So we kind of scammed this huge radio company.
Oh, right.
They paid me to be a sidekick, and then they hired Joel to be a producer.
Wow.
But Joel never knew how to produce radio, and then he was thrown with Danny Bonaducci,
Wow.
which was a bit insane.
It was essentially babysitting. Bonaducci was
Wow.
the big part of it. The best part right now is watching John on this board.
Yeah.
He did everything for 5 years to avoid learning how to do any of that
Right,
stuff.
and now he's
So yes,
elbows deep
so
in
we
it.
did radio, and then after that, we both kind of left the radio. We both moved back out to Los Angeles. I'm skipping a bunch of timeline stuff, and then during radio, that's when we created this card game that bachelorettes play when they go out to bars. It was called the That Guy game.
Right.
Every deck of card was a different type of guy that the girls would go out to the bar, and then they pull out a card and say sweaty dancer guy, big gut, skinny legs guy, and they'd have to find the real life version of the guy in the bar. So it was a scavenger hunt to find. This was now 15 years ago. There was no bachelorette party games that had cards on them.
Right.
Nothing. So me and Joel create that. We got into some stores. Almost immediately, we were ripped off. We were almost
Really?
Ripped off by. There's a company that only sell all their shit, and his shit is in black and white. Remember that dude?
Yeah.
That guy. If you ever see that stuff, ladies, that guy ripped us off.
Ripped you off how?
What do you mean? Like the cards are black and
Muscled
white?
you? Like what?
They came to us. He came to us and said, "Hey, we want to take your cards and put it under our brand." We said no because at that time we had celebrities that were playing it. We were in all these magazines. It was
We were in Drew
Right.
Barrymore played it. Julia Roberts. We had a full page spread in Glamour magazine where they took our
Wow.
cards and then matched them up with celebrity. A
Whoa.
full page in Glamour.
That's crazy.
In Style.
Entertainment Weekly.
Entertainment
We
Weekly.
scammed our way into
Entrepreneur magazine.
So were you initially making money
Well, they're
off
entrepreneurs.
Oh, well, here's
in the article for Entrepreneur. Yes.
but here's I was just saying this in the intro, but here's I guess it's an interesting story. We didn't know how to make the cards. We figured that out. We were like, we need to find an artist. Then we're like, what do we put them on? Do we put them on like playing cards? Yeah, but we don't want numbers on the playing cards. How do you find blank? We figured that out. Now this would if you're listening, you'd go, that'd be easy. Keep in mind we were 23 and we zero. We're like, well, okay, we found a place that prints them. Now what do we do? Let's buy 1,000 packs and get it sent to our house. And then we got that sent to our house and misspellings, like we didn't proofread
right.
anything. The colors were just shit. Like so, we had these these orange packs, right?
We still have 980 of them in
those.
my house.
And then we were living in Los Angeles, and Joel walks into. I think he started going. Didn't you just go into some of those boutique, like literally, like you sell our game?
There was a little store down in Larchmont Village that I walked into, and it has like a bunch of kitschy stuff. And you know, it's a really cool neighborhood. So I walked in there. And I chatted up the lady. I'm saying, hey, if you would you sell this? She goes, it's cute. So I didn't have a packaging. I didn't have display case. We didn't have anything.
Right.
So we just put it in a basket with I went home and laminated a little, the graphic and said That Guy Game. And Julia Roberts bought it from there.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore bought it from there. And then a reporter came in and was like, oh, this is cool. Like she was just shopping.
Yeah.
And the woman goes, oh, Julia Roberts just bought that. Next thing you know, that lady called us.
Wow.
So then, so
It
then
just snowballed,
Yeah.
huh?
So then it just happened, and then I did a Bob and Tom.
Yep.
I did their morning show, and mentioned the game briefly.
Right.
Right. So at this point, keep in mind this was however many years ago. There wasn't really online fulfillment centers, or even PayPal, or it wasn't like really dialed in because it was all. You had to do everything yourself, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so what happened in between that, though, is we then got a better version,
Yeah.
and we ordered maybe 2,500 decks, and they were all sitting in my apartment.
Now, keep in mind, we're broke. We ordered 2,500 decks that
On a
cost
credit card.
us
Yeah.
$3,000, $4,000, it was high, dude. Like it was
like $2 a deck.
So I mean, that's like a
$2 a day.
$3,000 investment
right.
when you have no idea how you're paying rent.
Right.
That's like
That's scary.
A big deal. And
Yeah.
we're 23. We couldn't be further away from marriage, and we're selling stuff to bachelor parties. So then we go on Bob and Tom, and he talks about it. And then you used to get an email alert. Like, you get an email every time you made an order. It's how we had it set up.
Yeah, we were selling them online. So, and to that point, John had done like a couple of shows, or I'd be on a show, and you would mention it, and you get like 5 or 6 orders, and it'd be exciting, and you'd put it in the little mail thing, and you'd go down to the post office and send
You physically
it away.
have to
You
write
guys
out.
are just sitting in your home doing this yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
No label machine. You'd have to write it out. Yeah, completely.
That's very VIP.
So John goes, it's completely.
Oh, wait, we got okay. I want to get past to that guy, but finish this.
So John goes on that show, and within that morning, probably 250, 300 orders come in within the first 30 minutes that he's on the thing.
Nice.
I wake up in Los Angeles, check my
East Coast
email,
time.
and it's just filled.
And I'm calling Joel at like what is his 5 o'clock in the morning, going, dude, wake up! You won't believe it. You won't believe it.
And so we live in an apartment complex with a bunch of other young people who are all like actors in the entertainment business that don't have jobs.
Right.
I'm knocking on their doors at 7 in the morning, like, you want to work today?
So we
I
sold
need
that
help
day. We sold
stuffing envelopes.
Yeah, that day we sold thousands. And literally though, it's you take the deck, stick it in one of those manila envelopes,
Right.
physically write out the thing,
Right.
and then take boxes and boxes to.
I got to know the postal employees so well. They would see me come and they're like, "Hey, Joel." They would stop. There'd be a line. They would step around the line, grab my stuff because I was there every day for weeks.
So we did that, and
Well-
then
We made so much money from that, we were able to afford the one thing John wanted the most. All he talked about for 6 months to make this business, he was like,
Can I guess what it is?
"Go ahead." This is what
is
he
fun.
thought.
This is a fun game.
He thought if we get this, this will make our business 100%. This is the one thing we need to really make the business run.
Wow. Now I'm stumped. I thought it was some sort of just toy.
Now you know John.
Yeah.
Think like John for a moment.
I was gonna say like a gaming chair that you sit in that like vibrates and you can play video games in it.
Too high
Way
end
off.
at that point. We're 23.
23.
23.
The one-
Hot.
And it has something to do with this business.
10 barely.
Barely.
You would find it in almost any office. You'll see them in this office. You would find it
Sticky
anywhere.
notes.
A printing press. So.
A whiteboard.
Oh, that's right.
all he wanted was a
Whiteboard.
whiteboard.
Right.
That would give him the creative freedom.
yeah,
to
I figured if I bought a whiteboard,
I could get organized.
all of my creative ideas would just come out, and I
Yeah.
just imagine myself writing formulas, the cancer, and this is how we do it. I can time
Right.
travel,
Right.
and just wiping. Yeah.
Where's the
So,
whiteboard now? Just curious.
It's turned into an iPad and an iPad 2 and an iPad 3, and have yet to figure out time travel. So,
But we have cured cancer.
we did that, and
Yeah.
then we stopped, and then we were ripped off just a crap ton. We created we had a patent for that guy. We actually patented the act of playing a scavenger hunt off of a deck of cards to whatever.
Nice.
and
Which
then-
is actually probably the coolest part about it, is you can say we're patent holders.
Right.
Yeah, and then later on, just to end that story, we're like, then all these other that guy things started kind of popping out. And then there's somebody had a book called Don't Be That Guy, where literally the artwork was, some would say, almost identical
Yeah.
to ours.
No, on that one, the "Don't Be That Guy" book that came out,
Yeah.
we went, we saw the author's name there on it.
Yeah.
Went back through our order history, found the girl who
Yeah.
was the author.
Really.
And then there's a recent one that we went. So we're like, this is such a blatant. So then we were going to sue, but the people who I think ripped us off, just allegedly from my point of view, was a huge company. So our lawyer said, you can lawyer up, but it's going to cost you $1 bazillion. We're like, well, that doesn't seem fair. So we created an app for the game, the
Right.
That Guy game that you can get on your iPhone recently, just to kind of update it, and we're going to redo it. Although, as cool as technology is,
Yeah.
the act of actually physically playing with the cards in your hand is 100 times better experience.
More fun, yeah.
Speaking of apps, I have a brand new app. It's a "Do you really want this tattoo?" app. I just made this last week. I had this idea, and
We have a listener. I love it. Someone who actually listens to the show.
All right.
Well, I think that's our first callback ever of a guest.
It really is.
To,
all right. So
reference.
So me and Joel did that, and then
I only listened to the first 7 minutes of your last week's podcast. Let's just
and then Joel got out here, and then he started working on some television shows. I think you wrote trivia stuff for Who Wants to Be. Was that your first? What was that trivia show?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No, I was a joke writer for Weakest Link.
The Weakest Link?
He had to write the questions.
Yes. the Weakest Link.
The jokes.
The jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then from there, then you started producing shows. I'm skipping your intro a lot, so people are like, why is this guy? And then you actually were on...
the first show I produced was Last Comic Standing.
Where
John Heffron won.
What?
I smell nepotism. Nepotism.
What's going on there?
Seems shady, doesn't it?
Yeah, so Joe was back scenes for that. But your credit at the time, you couldn't have.
No, here's the thing. By the way, that is, in my opinion, the biggest travesty on television was how they messed up that show.
Yes.
Last
Comic, going through the seasons.
I agree.
Okay, so let's go back to that. So Joel did that. No, because then I'm trying to set up who you are, and then we'll go. Then there's all these different. So Joel.
I have questions of my own.
Yeah. So Joel did that, and then he started working on a bunch of other shows that are extremely popular.
I
If you
produced
like to
reality
plug any-
TV.
Yeah.
For a company called 495 Productions. I'm an executive
you-
producer and head of current productions at 495 Productions.
And there's some of the shows that people can see.
That 495 does?
Yeah.
Currently
495 does Jersey Shore, all the Jersey spinoffs, The Girls, Snooki J. Wow, Pauly D. We do Friend Zone on MTV, a little dating show.
Right.
We do a brand new show on Spike called Tattoo Nightmares, tattoo cover-up show. Got one coming out on Tuesday called Viral Video Showdown. It's for Sci-Fi. It's internet filmmakers go head-to-head, see who's the best.
nice. Did you do Road Rules?
I did not do Road
Okay.
Rules. I did America's Got Talent after Last Comic Standing.
Right.
And a couple other little things. And then
Gotcha.
So that's his resume. So there's some questions I would like to ask him. One, about reality shows. Two, what are some of the heinous pitches, or if somebody wants to pitch a show.
Right.
And then what makes a reality show cool, and then are they all completely fake?
Right.
Because there's some that here's my theory. I think a show is completely fake if the word ghost is in it, is in the title.
Okay.
Picker,
Oh, you think? Okay.
wars, and Sasquatch.
What Picker? You think you don't think
What's
American
Picker?
Pickers is?
Do you think those guys are in the middle in these now? This
Well, the way that they
middle of a
fit.
swamp, and they're like, "Oh, look, it's in 1922 Harley. It's never been written, and it's in the middle of the swamp." Those shows should be called assistant producers.
Yeah.
Have to carry
Scouts.
shit into the woods and leave it, so the hosts
Right.
that act like they
Can
know what
pretend
they're
to stumble
talking
upon
about
it.
can stumble upon it.
That's
Is
funny.
what those.
No reality show is real. They're all fake.
Well, I think there's some that are obviously more fake than others.
I'm going to disagree with that.
Tell me which ones are real.
Jersey Shore.
But isn't it semi-scripted?
It's not scripted at all.
Aren't they like
We
pushed
shoot-
into saying certain
No,
things?
we shoot 900 to 1 on that show. That's 900 hours of footage to get 1 hour of show.
Oh, wow.
So it's not it's like people
Hey, Joe,
think all
talking
that,
to your mic.
people think all of that is
Guy
is-
executive produces $1 billion worth of shows.
Can't talk to
Give
them.
them mic.
I won't even go into
He's
the
like, you
mechanics
don't, he's like, you don't talk to me this way. I'm an executive producer. Are you kidding me? I have a staff of 50 people.
No,
No one tells me what to do.
I was about to tell you that because I'm on the shared headphones. Mine are so loud that when I'm
okay.
talking, but if you turn that down, then he doesn't hear. So
Okay, well.
see, that's the technical side here.
Boom.
So no, there are shows that I think are definitely assisted reality, right? And there are shows.
I like that. I like that word.
Assisted
Assisted
reality.
reality.
Yeah, where
Sounds
they're
very
like I think
futuristic.
they where there's some sort of scripting, or like on American Pickers, like there's an episode I saw where and here's the thing, I don't get to watch every show, I don't have time, so
Sure.
but like there's an episode and they're driving along and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna go to Minnesota and see what we find, and then the girl from the office is like, hey, I heard about this guy. Like, no, that didn't happen. Okay, clearly that was a producer who found a junkyard in Minneapolis, and the setup to that
Yeah.
is the fake part. Them
Right.
getting there and seeing what's in the barn and finding all that, that's probably what the real part of the show
Yeah.
is. There's docuseries that I think are more staged or scripted than other docuseries. Like, for example, what's the fishing, the crab, Deadliest Catch.
Deadliest Catch.
Deadliest Catch is not a scripted show at all.
Right.
Like, there's no, that's, you see the behind the scenes, they have a behind the scenes show. That's just, they're out there.
And those shows have what are called story editors, where somebody's forced to watch, and then they'll find, okay, this guy is sleeping a lot on the job, so let's have this episode be about how this guy sleeps. So there's somebody, that's how it tells the story on those shows.
So on certain shows where you're just following reality, the key is casting people who are big characters, who are going to act out and be what you want. Now, 10 years ago when we were casting, people would come in and they had no idea what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
So when people would come in, you would meet them and you were like, that person is awesome, that is TV. Now, when you see people, you got to kind of sort out, are they acting for me? Are they pretending?
Yes.
Are they trying to be the character that they think I want them to be?
Right.
Oh, you're going to be the mean guy. Oh, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be the crazy guy.
Yeah.
You can kind of suss that out. And when you find the people
Wouldn't everybody do that now, though? Like, how do you...
Nowadays, probably.
Is there any genuine people that show up, or is it all like, I'm going to be the douchey guy?
It's now my job when we're casting
is
to kind of sort that out. Yeah, you can kind of tell when somebody's being genuine when they have a brain fart and they're talking to you and they use the wrong words and they're trying to be smart. You're like, okay, this person might be genius. That's a little... And you find the great characters and then you follow them. And once you follow them, if you're really not scripting it, you're going to have a ton of footage, and you got to, while you're in the field, you're watching those stories develop, and you're tracking those stories and trying to figure out like what's happening here and make sure we're covering it. And then you have to get the interview bites to be able to tell that story when you miss pieces of that story. Now, there's other shows where they have, there's like, I would say the Kardashians are a bit of a semi-scripted, type of show, But to that point, like, people are always like, oh, it's so scripted and it's so fake. What happens on the Kardashians is no less unrealistic than what is scripted in
their lives,
in daytime soaps. It's the Kardashians is the new daytime soap,
right?
Like, it's rich people living fantasy lives, doing things that you think is beyond, but they're scripted shows that are crazier than the Kardashians.
Right.
Days of Our Lives has crazier plot lines than the Kardashians, and people watch that.
Had the little
my
person
favorite,
on it,
like sands through the hourglass. I have a reality show for you, Joel. My mother. She lays on the floor. Oh, you tell me if this is a good idea, right? My mother's 72 years old. She talks like this. She lays on the floor on piles of pillows and blankets with all her drugs in front of her. Xanax, coffee, a big remote control, and she just watches Law & Order on a loop, and she spews her wisdom from the floor. What the fuck are you going to California for? They got earthquakes there. Mudslides. Everybody's an asshole. And she cooks. She cooks really well. She makes up these recipes and shit, but she is the most miserable, depressed, crazy, rotten, negative person you could ever imagine, and it's so fucking funny.
And that is the gist of about 80% of the pitches I get. So my mom lays on the floor. Sound like a show to you?
Boom, right there. Stop. That's it. Let's make it. That sounds like...
I would say follow her around, but she doesn't go anywhere.
She could have a good clip.
Well, that's another thing with reality show. Like, now every job that you think would be boring is shot. But here's what always happens, by episode 2 or 3, whatever shop we're watching, the florist, we're going to follow florists around and the wackiness that happens. By episode 2, those florists are going go-karting, paintballing, or doing some activity because what they do is so boring that they go, we have to create something because, and then by year 3, they're probably in Miami. It's usually what happens.
Right.
Like Gold Rush. Like, I can't stand that show. Do you see that show?
I know what you're talking about. I don't watch it.
I don't get mad at it. Like, I watch it every single episode, so I guess it's good because I just go, I want to put 5 guys together and I can outgold these dumbasses. And then now they're we're in Alaska, now they're in Africa.
Okay.
And really?
Yeah.
Because you guys were so good in Alaska, you're going to go to Africa. I hope one of you gets kidnapped. That would make the show. But then next, they're going to be in Miami. They're going to be at a kiosk at a mall, having people bring in watches they stole from Miami hotels.
Exactly.
And they're going to be like, we make more money getting stolen gold in Miami than we did in Africa.
Guest appearance on Pawn Stars.
What happens is a company goes out and they take the a thin premise like the flour delivery and they make a great sizzle and somebody buys into it. They get the show and then they get into it and they're like, okay,
we got nothing.
Go karting, yeah.
And
I think that's like a big key. And one of the things that we really try is like to make sure that if you're going to sell a show about something, you got to know that you're going to get that what you're really kind of getting into.
It's funny to me, like there's a whole channel now basically called True TV, where it's like all these reality shows, but one of the fakest ones is on True TV. It's one about the towing company. Where, like they get in a fight every episode with someone who
I
gets
saw
their
an
car
episode
towed.
of
and they never punch to the face. It's always like wrestling and someone gets on the ground and rips a shirt off, but no one ever actually gets punched with a fist in the face.
Remember
It's
Cheaters?
the fakest fight. Yes,
Cheaters.
I watched Cheaters with my ex-boyfriend all
The
the
guy got
time.
stabbed.
We
My
loved
wife
it.
loves
I thought
Cheaters.
it was fake. I'm still convinced that it's fake. Like I feel like there's no way. You know what I mean? Like they're just.
I think
I saw
some are
Cheaters-
fake and some are real.
I saw a Cheaters episode where they were like, okay, we're here. She's been out with the guy. They're in the back at the jacuzzi. We're going to sneak back there. And the boyfriend's like all mad. And then they all run like, surprise, we got you. And then they startled the people who are in the hot tub. They're like, what? And they stand up and their lavalier mics fall off of their bathing suits. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. Just two people hanging out at the pool with the lavaliers on.
Waterproof logs.
Well, the reactions of people always, because I would be like, that girl would not be acting like that if she was just, caught by her boyfriend. I'm like, the reaction is so fake, you can tell.
Yeah.
And he was convinced Cheaters was real, and we would fight, but we would watch it every time.
It's hard.
Do you think it's real or do you think it's fake?
What? I think
Cheaters.
it's fake.
You think it's fake?
I would
think
say
it's fake.
here's how I would figure out one of those shows. I would figure out that show like Cheaters. I bet a portion of them were real, and then they started having to stage them, and those are the ones you see.
Maybe
That's
some
why I
of
think
them.
it's like some are fake and some are real. It's like we're out of stuff to do. Let's the fake one.
And by the way, sometimes people's reactions are not what they're supposed to be. We did a show on MTV called Disaster Date. It's a hidden camera show where somebody sets up their friend to go
With
on
a
a
very
back date.
funny comedian, Jeff Keith. Just started to throw that out
I've
to
seen
that
it.
kid.
Yeah.
So we did that for I did 100 and I don't know how many episodes, but there's a ton of those things. And in edit, none of them were ever staged. Every now and then we would get somebody who would try to play us, like two guys who wanted to be on TV. So they're like, they played casting and they're like, yeah, I'm going to set up my friend. But it turned out their friend was in on it. We had ways to kind of suss that out before they got to the set.
Right.
And sometimes we would just, if I found that out, I wouldn't want to play it. But there are a lot of times when people you would finish the thing or you'd do whatever the crazy thing is to that person, and their reaction is like, what? It looks fake. And in post, I would sit there and try to cut around it because I'm like, it looks fake. But sitting there, you knew afterwards, you knew that person didn't know because they were really upset. They didn't even want to sign the release.
Oh.
So
The thing that bugs me most about reality shows, and they produce them all the same. So maybe I don't mind reality, but I wish they would just have different templates. It's always like.
Formula.
Yeah, it's like, so it's an interview. I don't even have a good song to play underneath it. This isn't going to work. If we don't get the bike done by Friday, we won't be able to hand it in on time. And Rachel just sits around and she just eats cake.
Oh!
And then they show you just eating cake. Or they'll show you, like, doing something, and then they have the guy narrating what we just saw. I mean, like, dude, we just saw it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
well, why do you have to? Yeah,
It's like pick one. Are you gonna have the people narrator? Or are you gonna have a narrator?
On your now where I had some flow with these conversations, but I want to on your last comic, John.
Yeah.
On season what's season?
I was
4?
season 5.
5. You guys didn't have any like house scenario?
No, thank God.
So you guys' episode was just straight stand-up.
We went out and did challenges where we'd meet up somewhere at medieval times and we'd do a challenge.
Did you
and go
guys
back
have
to,
to
the hotel
say
room.
I'm funnier than?
Yes, we did.
yeah.
Yes.
The biggest mistake in that show was eliminating house reality, and that show was one of the best formatted shows because you had this thing where we saw you guys live together in the early season when they lived together. They would live together, then they would go out and they would do a challenge, and at the challenge somebody won, somebody kind of got immunity, and then they would do the voting part. That voting part is the genius part because no matter what happened in the challenge, you weren't getting voted off.
Right.
Like you had a chance to redeem yourself by showing that you were funny in front of an audience.
Right.
That's why, like, when people joke like, "Oh, Joel was a producer on John's season." I really didn't have any. Once he was on the show, there's no.
My season was completely rigged, as you can see of all the television I've done after last comic.
Right.
Or any winner since then. You can
Why
tell.
did they rig it in your favor?
Yeah, that's exactly. I get that all the time, especially my episode, because there were where people are like, "Yeah, well, it's last comic they cast it. It's not that." Yeah, they do. It's a television show. like that's what I don't get is they do cast that, but because somebody who went through the process, I would see people being interviewed that were hilarious, funny comics, and then the producer would ask them questions like, "So, what's some of your biggest goals, or what do you want to do if you're on last comic?" It's kind of like
they're boring.
It's kind of like comics who do morning radio that don't flip a switch when they're doing morning radio, and then they're like, "Why do my numbers suck?" Well, it's because you were boring as fuck when you got it. When you got on the thing, there's a performance that you got to do.
That was the biggest thing with John on his season is, first of all, people say it was rigged. Yes, there's a casting element that goes into the people that are on the show. But once they're on the show and you do challenges, you perform in front of a live audience. That audience votes. That determines who leaves and who stays. And then you get to the live shows, and America votes, and that determines who leaves and who wins.
Right.
And on John's season, John actually benefited from the fact that everybody in the house thought he was the weaker comic and kept challenging him. So his stand-up, he got to showcase his stand-up like 3 or 4
Almost
times.
That's hilarious.
And so people got to know him and connect with him in a better way, and I think
true.
that's one of the ways. And the other thing is that in interviews, what John was just talking about, he was always on. He always gave a good soundbite, and there are people like that. When we do shows, we have people who are amazing at sound bites. They say funny things. You ask them a question, and instead of repeating back that question as part of their answer and giving you a dry answer, they put it in their own words. They put their own spin on it. And when you go into post, it's a bunch of lazy people who are looking for the easiest way to put the show together. You know what I mean? And I'm like tongue in cheek. I'm saying the post people are lazy, but that's me. But when you have somebody who always gives good sound bites. Yeah. Then whenever you have a scene,
you give good sound.
It's basically
you give good sound bites. You give good sound bites, baby.
We are such the 80s. We can always be counted on for the 80s singing.
We got to do a photo shoot
Mid-podcast.
at some point. I agree. It's 2 jobs. 1, you got to be a comedian and you got to be funny on stage as a comic. 2, you got to be funny off stage, or at least entertaining. To have great sound bites and that kind of stuff. And my season, the exact opposite thing happened to me that happened to John, where everyone thought he was the weaker comic. Do you know who Dante is?
Yeah.
It was on my season. Well, Dante, he was randomly sort of buddying up to me, because I think everyone else was shunning him, the other comics, and I didn't care. I didn't know him. So I was just talking to Dante, and he was like, I said, yeah, I'm huge in the South. I've got
You said that to him.
I said that to him. I said, anywhere I go in the South, it's sold out. I used to just do theaters now. Because of the Dodge Hemi commercial and blah, 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 and people in NASCAR love me, blah, blah. So I made him believe
hey,
that
everybody,
I was already a household
you guys
name.
gonna go see John Reap this weekend?
Yeah, dude, I got my ticket 6 months ago. Thank you for that, John.
I tried,
so Dante went and tells other people this.
you guys take food stamps.
Dante tells everyone else, don't. I would not challenge Reap because he's got a huge following, and if they see you say I'm funnier than John Reap, they're not going to like you, and you're not going to get votes. So no one ever really challenged me.
So you
I
didn't
coasted to the top 5. I didn't have to perform once until I got to the top 5.
And then that kind of helped because you had saved a lot of your material.
I saved a lot of my material, and no one really knew what I was capable of.
They did it different when I was on. By the time you were in the finals, I performed 100 times. Because they would do it. I get challenged, so you'd do 5. And then the results show, you would do another 5, which was a complete, you were wasting sets because it was for nothing.
Right.
You're doing it just for, but I ended up, performing 5, 6, 7, 7 times.
Yeah.
You performed a lot on that show.
And prior to Last Comic, I was doing stand-up for 15 years.
Did your show shoot all the way through and like bled right into the live? Like, were you guys shooting right up into the live, or did you shoot and then you had that time down in between?
We had time down.
That's how his was. There was time down. We edited those shows, and the biggest mistake was taking away that house reality, because you put 6 comics in a house or 8 comics in a house, you have a built-in situation comedy. You have a built-in sitcom.
Right.
That's you have 6, 7, 8 funny guys.
They would do stuff too, like
I was thankful though that I didn't have to live.
This
in
is
that
back
house.
when
Selfishly speaking, as a comic who didn't want to live with other weird comics.
Here's how
in a
shady
house.
some of the stuff that they did. There was a scene where I was like itching my nose. I'm outside. I have allergies. I'm right by the fire pit. By the way, I've seen the castle. We were in a castle during our episode. It was also the castle on the cover of Morse Day, The Time. And I've seen so much porn shot in that castle through my thing. I'm like, oh, there's the house. That's where we voted off. Like right there. Totally where that gangbang is happening.
It was the Hearst Castle, right?
What?
It was the Hearst Castle?
No, it was it was just this crazy. So I'm rubbing my eyes, and there's a scene where they go, are you going to join our alliance? And they have like Alonzo Bowden, Jay London, Ant, and somebody else all like stared at me. But when you saw that episode shot, none of them were by the fire. It was all individual. I think they had a producer off to the side who every once in a while would clap wood and make somebody turn really fast, and then they'd get that footage, and then
wood guy.
And then they'd edit that all together, and then they would do stuff like, I remember 1 or 2 days nobody was doing anything. It was literally like a day of everyone's literally laying on the couch reading books or whatever, not doing anything. And then that day suddenly, it's 110 degrees in Los Angeles. The air conditioning stops working, like all day.
Yeah.
No, the air's busted. So it's odd. So now you're getting a little hot and sweaty. It's 110. You're getting now you're getting a little bit pissy.
Pool at the castle.
Oh yeah, you're getting a little bit pissy though. And then this is back when I drank. I open up the refrigerator to get something to eat, and there's a fifth of Patron or something. So I'm like, where'd this come from? And then me and Kathleen Madigan, next thing you know, just blitzed, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a producer shows
Now
up
we got
out
a
of the
show.
blue.
Now we got
John,
something.
Hey, John, why don't you come over here and let's interview you for a second? All right. Hey, how do you feel that Todd Glass is saying? What the fuck is he saying about how do you feel about that? Well, he can, and then you're
funny.
like, oh, that's what they do to you.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, they turn the air off and they get you drunk. And they say, hey, this guy's talking shit about
Get
you.
you irritated and make you do shit you don't want to do.
I remember that.
Oh, it's so fake because they turned the air off. That show is so fake. They gave us booze.
It's fixed. It's fixed.
It's so staged.
Well, like I said, I think there are some that are more fake than others, like lizard lick towing, the fake fight. That's obviously fake to me. And then
that's the
turning
repo
the air,
one, right? The repo one.
Yeah, they're on True TV.
Yeah.
The ones I think that are most real are like the hidden camera shows, where it's like the people don't even know that they're on a show until afterwards, where they have to sign a waiver or something. Because then you're getting real, honest to goodness, real reactions, because they're just being themselves, because the camera is hidden and they're not aware of it. Like Scare Tactics on the Sci-Fi Channel is one of my favorite ones. Just seeing people get the shit scared out of them, like, and it's where it's fight or flight, where it's like I have to fight my way out of this hotel room and jump out the window, or I just have to, to save my life, jump out the window, whatever it is. But yeah, I like the hidden camera ones.
Have you seen Bait Car on True TV?
Yes, that's one of my favorite ones. Bait Car. Have you seen Bait Car, John?
I like Bait Car.
Bait Car is so good. If that's a marathon on, that's what I'm doing.
So racist, but it's such a good show.
Well, hey,
Bait Car
anybody
is
can
good.
get in the car.
Yes, this is true. Except for they always stage them down in South Central.
Hey, do one in my neighborhood. I bet you someone will get in that car.
Yeah.
Studio Village.
Hey guys, let's break for a quick second because it's the political time of year. I think we should play this ad.
Some podcasts pay for their internet stream using slush funds supplied by greedy corporations. We don't. If you believe in freedom, then vote for Heffron and Reeb, and Butera, and whoever else may be hanging out in the living room.
John Heffron is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Go to heffronandreap.com for tour dates and great links. Hey, did you get that? It's heffronandreap.com. Go there now.
That was our little break. That was our fake break. What do you think
Fake
about
break.
it? It's a fake break.
It seemed real.
It seemed real.
Like it was a reality
just
television show.
Felt because we're a network of one, I just wanted to reset here for a second and encourage people to go to our iTunes page. that has the logo that's red and black.
Yes.
That's the.
So that's when it says show at the end of it. Heffron
Yeah,
and Reap
and it's
show.
the official. I know it's confusing, but
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. We dropped our other peeps, and we lost all of our listeners, but we're slowly building back. Not even
right.
slowly.
We didn't lose them.
It's
not like
more
you
of
lost
an
them.
exclusive
to
club
find us.
now.
Yeah.
You know, it's more of an exclusive club.
Yeah, so if you go there and leave comments on iTunes, that would be awesome. Like we said on the last podcast, you can leave any comment you want. Maybe you have a good recipe of something, maybe a good quote. You can throw that in there. Or if you go to heffronandreap.com, you can see pictures of some of the stuff we talk about. There's the Amazon link where it's starting to get holiday time. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon and want to support the show, you just click on Amazon. It doesn't change anything for you. But for every $1 million you spend, we get about 3 cents.
Right. We can keep
So
the
we're
lights
hoping
on a
that
little longer.
we're so about 10 billion.
Yeah. That would be nice.
All right.
Heffronandreap.com.
Yeah. And then also,
What
yeah.
else did you
Let me
want
ask
to
you this, guys. You guys
Yeah,
have,
you had some criticism about the show in the very
you
beginning.
guys had a shared Twitter. You have a shared Twitter account.
Heffron and Reap.
Yeah, Heffron and Reap.
Yeah.
What is that?
At Heffron and Reap.
Yeah, at Heffron and Reap.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Wait, hold on.
Who runs it? Who operates
Heffron
it?
and
Oh, here you
Reap.
go.
Follow them on Twitter. At Heffron and Reap.
Well, that's for the show.
let's just
right?
Yeah,
let's
that's for
just
the show.
admire the board op work when every time there's a drop, it's hang on, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Hang on. Stop talking. Okay, go.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Wait. Hang on. I gotta hit this button. Ah, shit, it's not working. Hang on. What were you going to say, though, about our shared
Yeah,
Twitter account?
Who, are there any fights about what gets put up on Twitter? Like,
No.
I don't have passwords to that, so I
Yes,
actually...
you do. You have passwords to
It
that.
doesn't-
I've
it
given
never
it to you
works.
several times.
I can't get it to work, so I never...
Well, that's not my fault.
Why? Should we fight about it? What's
No,
on
I was
there?
I
pretending
think
to
I just
fight
started
right
this
now.
out
I was
right
pretending
now.
to. He was trying to egg us on. This is what he does.
Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah.
There's cameras in here. You don't know it. That's
Yeah,
a
we
new
don't.
show.
Hey, how do you feel about plug-in Reap at Heffron and Reap?
Yeah, he's always doing his
so
stuff.
John, when the other day when you were saying that that you're not stoked about the stuff that Reap tweets out, because it represents both of you guys, you want to talk to him about that?
What do you mean you're not stoked about it? I thought we were on the same page. I give you the password. You can do this anytime you want. How come you're pretending the password doesn't work?
I mean, John, when he
I
says
just feel-
dumb idiot, I don't know. How do you feel about that? When
I just
somebody,
feel I
His
don't. know-
ADD brain can't handle Twitter. That's the problem. See?
I just don't know if
he can't.
John
he can't
respects.
spell. First of all, he can't.
That
have you
is
seen
true.
it? I'll show you text messages from Heffron.
Yeah, you don't. Joe, trust me. Joe's the last person you got to
Joel
tell.
does.
John doesn't know how to spell. All right. I don't know what's going on.
No, he's
You
all
guys,
over the map now.
Stop.
I thought this was going to be, that's just the way it is.
Some things will never change. Young man walking by, spit some tobacco in his eye.
We haven't talked up the post the entire.
that's not how
Do
it
you have a
goes.
suggestion? Let's do that.
It's-
Let's
Let him
hold
do
on
it,
one second.
Joel.
Let's do this. If you go to heffronandreap.com, there is stuff where you can ask us questions.
Yes.
And I meant to print up those questions every single time. People want to know how we met. They're like, "What's the connection?"
I've not gotten one. Where does that go?
That would be if you go to our email that was created for the show.
you don't have that
I
password.
don't have
John.
that. No,
Yes,
I'm not
you
I
getting
have
that.
none of
Everybody
those.
was gotten a huge piece of paper that has all the logins for everything.
I have not seen one email directed towards me or you.
That is
Not one
find it
recipe.
But what was I saying?
Oh, you wanted
so
to-
if you want to pick a song that we can talk up for you, we can do
Oh,
a
yeah.
long distance dedication, Joel, because we always play this one, Joel, and Reap hates it, but I think it's fun. So let's get back to Joel. But let's do this. Would you want to be a overly bad morning show, or do you want to be like? Do you want to not interview him well, or do you want to be overly happy?
No, you just came back from break, so you need to.
No, we're going to go into break.
No,
Watch.
you just came back a little bit ago, but you're like, well, let's get back to Joel, and you have to reset.
Right.
Joel Zimmer's here, executive producer of
this is-
reality television.
Here's what we're going to do. Ready?
All right.
Okay, ready? Man, we are learning some good stuff about reality shows, huh? Rachel,
Yeah.
they should follow you around. That'd be some interesting stuff, right? Especially on one of your Friday nights.
Yeah, just my dates alone would be like mega entertaining.
Oh, that's hilarious. 76 degrees. Here's Collide. Chris Lord.
Oh, you didn't hit it, dude.
No, I had a second.
Close. That's a
Always
deceptive song.
collide.
That's what I'm saying. People can email us in.
Give us another song,
songs,
please.
'cause I don't know any other
the love
songs
of
to do
God.
post.
Do you have? Does that give you how many seconds to the post?
Yeah.
But that's cheating, isn't it?
No. 'cause
Yeah, no,
if you
I
were to
say,
look at it, it would be.
I'm trying to teach them so they have feeling.
No, but in a studio you would have a counter, and in your your cart would say. Or
Is that how they always did it?
would-
So they weren't just.
It would say 10 seconds to the post, and then you would have a counter, and you would see where that post is
I
coming.
thought that was just a
And
skill.
it's
No,
called,
it says.
It's called talking up the ramp.
Talking up.
Talking up the ramp.
It's called talking up the
And
ramp
hitting
and
the
hitting
post.
the post.
Right.
Coming at you.
And he would say talking up the post.
Yes, and the post is either the lyrics or if it's a song that's instrumental and has big pieces in the instrumental before it gets to lyrics.
Yeah.
Those can be posts as well. So you talk up, you let the drums go on tonight, and then you continue talking into the lyrics.
Oh, man. I never knew this.
It's so complicated.
That's what a producer does. I just want to here to help you guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, back from the break. We're sitting here with Joel, Rachel, and Heffron, and me, John Rape. We're just discussing reality shows. Are they fake? Are they real? Which ones are fake? Which ones are real? Which one's your favorite? Email us. Go to heffronandreap.com and ask us questions. We want to know.
Hey, you want to talk about fake? You should come into our sales department, huh?
Tell you one thing that's real. No rain out here ever.
I'll tell you what's not real. That coffee in the break room.
76 degrees. Have a read.
Nice. That was team effort.
That
one
perhaps
was a team effort.
That was the longest
That's
ramp
a long-
ever.
It was a very long
Bad choice.
I'm randomly picking him.
That was a full segment.
You know what I realized, and I didn't have to play out. You know what's funny? That I was listening to the 80s channel on satellite. I think Martha Quinn, who we should get on the show. I've been to her place before.
Yeah.
We tweet each other, although I don't know if it's the real Martha Quinn. With the real Martha Quinn, please stand
I'm
up.
friends with her on
Please stand
Facebook
up.
because we took a voiceover class together.
Okay, so you know how they give stats about the artist? Like they'll give you a little bit of stats.
Do you have
like,
a name drop?
No. They'll have a stat about the artist, and then they'll play the song.
Mm-hmm.
I realized whatever they say about the artist, right, I completely take it 100% true. Like, they could just lie their ass off, and I go, oh, yeah, that's totally is what's happening with Ring Springfield now. Does that make sense? Like, for some reason, that's the most honest I think people are is right before. So you could totally just, like, make it up is I guess what I'm saying. You guys follow me at
Yeah,
all?
no, I totally follow the setup. No, I'm just waiting for the. Go ahead, hit the.
Well, no, I don't even have,
Is it-
like, okay,
Pick a
Do you have a
song.
Ricky Springfield song?
there's a little thing from John Waite.
John Waite,
many
recently
people
divorced.
don't know this. John Waite, he actually came in number 3 in American Top Chef last year.
Is that right?
Yes.
I
So here's
heard
something
that.
from his earlier
Yeah,
career,
I heard
back
his
when he was a
career
singer.
took a downturn and he was
singer,
on the
John
Top
Waite.
Chef.
See, you would believe me.
Yeah.
Didn't you not think that he won season
Right.
3?
I know that he didn't.
That's crazy.
But you could just make one
Yeah,
up,
you
though,
could-
is what I'm
I
saying.
love John Waite. Now you make me want to hear that song.
Well, here, just do a fake one, and then we get one.
We need to have a photo shoot, John, and Rachel, where we're like dynamic duos or trios
Here you
from
go,
the
Rach.
80s, and we dress like them.
Rach, here we
We
go.
just have-
We could be Kid and Play.
And then I'm going to
plus
stop
one.
doing this. Rachel, here we go. You're a afternoon drive time DJ. You kind of hate your job. You kind of play. It's more adult, contemporary kind of chick rock. And I want you to give a little stat about this artist. You're just going to make it up and then lead into the song. Do you want me to tell you who it is?
No, go ahead.
Okay, ready? Here we
It's a
go.
lot of stuff.
So much.
We do it now because it's dead air.
I don't know what
WNIC.
song is.
W nice.
That's hard. That was one of them.
I don't know that song.
See, okay. Okay, my little game is
That was
done.
like there was like no intro to that song. That could have
that,
been that could have been any song
that's a
in the
Canadian,
universe.
Bryan
Is that Bryan Adams?
Yeah, but I wanted you just to make up random stats about Bryan Adams.
But I didn't
as
know
the
it was
joke.
Bryan
She didn't know it
Adams.
was Bryan Adams.
But then I asked you guys if you guys want to.
I thought you would pick one that I knew.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys weren't at rehearsal.
Yeah.
So what happens? You don't show up for rehearsal.
It was like piano. It was like.
How did
They
you
started
guys
singing.
even meet? Is what I want to know. You're best friends for 20 years.
Stand up.
Where in Detroit?
In Michigan, yeah.
Are
I
you
saw-
in
Are you
Detroit
you're a
too?
Detroit guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw him doing a stand up and I thought, God, I could do this.
Ah.
No,
This
that's
looks
always
easy.
the worst. No, I saw him. He was like, he was 17, 18 doing stand up.
Yeah, we're starting.
And you guys were the same age?
Yeah.
And then started. They had a lot of shows at University of Michigan. It was called Laugh Track, where you could drink if you were college age. So every Wednesday, maybe 500 college kids would show up on a Wednesday.
Right.
It's the greatest. And then you were right in that wheelhouse. So you'd get on stage and you go, hey, don't you hate taking exams?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of, it was like really just a badass environment.
So you saw him first, and then you said, "Oh, I'm going to try this," or
No, actually, yeah. I mean, generally, I mean, he was working already. He started working as a 17-year-old. I was maybe I was like 19 or something or 20, and
Right.
And he was like middling at the clubs and stuff. And I was like, wow, look at this kid.
I was a
doing it.
prodigy.
And I was interested in doing stand up. Like when I joined the RCA Record and Tape Club, remember that, like the Columbia House
Yeah.
thing? You know,
Oh my God.
You get 4 tapes for a penny, right? That was the RCA deal.
for the rest of your life, and you can't get
Yeah.
out of it.
Yes, exactly. My first 4 tapes were 2 Bill Cosbys, a Rich Little, and the Police Synchronicity. You know, so I was always into like comedy,
Right.
and then I saw it and I was like, wow, you could do that. You could get on stage and tell jokes, and
And you guys buddied up, and
I wanted to tag along for a long time. I just kind of tagged along because he kind of did good with the girls, you know, like he had the rap on stage, and you know,
right,
I like
young man,
Heffron and Reap. Subject change.
piercing blue eyes.
that is a wife subject change.
That's hilarious.
Never happened.
Now, do you still do stand up?
No. I stopped right around Last Comic.
Okay.
Yeah, when I started producing that, like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like in terms of producing, like everybody was jocking me because they knew I was working on Last Comic, and instead of like using that to my advantage and like working the network, I just stopped going to clubs and stopped hanging out, and you know,
Right.
one thing led to another, and I was.
Well, did you go to the Improv a lot in Melrose and all that stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I did the one down in Comedy and Magic Club, the
Right,
Ice
most of-
House, a little bit at the Improv.
Okay.
A lot
Did
of
you hit the
colleges.
road too? I mean, were you like a road dog for a while?
Like 300 days out of the year.
Wow, that's
We
awesome.
did a tour where we had to drive around the country making college kids laugh, and if they laughed, they got a T-shirt. It was called Crack Me Up. We did about 100 colleges in a 4-month span. Every day, different city, different college, and you'd have to put on costumes, and then you would sit in a chair, and then we'd jump in front of you, and then we'd go, hey, blah, blah, blah. And if you laughed, you got nothing, but if you didn't laugh, you would get $25.
Oh God!
And do
sounds-
you want to know what we made a show?
Yes.
What do you think we made a show? How many shows
this
did we
a-
do a week? I won't say who did it, or I'll keep all that.
Well, I'm going to ask you.
I won't say the booker or anything like
Was it
that.
a NACA event?
No.
Oh yeah, no, it was NACA or whatever. But we probably did 5 or 6 shows a week with maybe 14-hour drives in between each show. We rented a van at Hertz Rent-A-Car or Enterprise, and we this is back when they like charge you on miles.
Before they would pick you up.
Yeah, we returned the van with about 40,000 miles, completely bald tires.
Yeah.
Picked up the van with 10,000 miles on it. Unlimited mileage for whatever it was, 12, 13 weeks.
Right.
The van came back to them with bald tires, that oil hadn't been changed, and there was a bird
There was a dead bird in the
stuck in the grill.
But what do you think? What do you think we made a show?
And it was just you two?
There's
One
3 of
other
us.
guy.
3 of you. Okay,
3
so
of us total.
I'm going to guess.
Knowing what colleges pay, what do you think we
and
got
this was
paid
back
as the
then. Now,
entertainers?
colleges can pay decent if we're a no-name, especially with NACA. Because okay, I'm going to guess that you made anywhere from $700 to $1,000 each per show.
300.
Oh, nice. We didn't even have to say, wait, hold on.
Thank you. I'll be here always. I guess I'm way off the mark. You said 300. Is she closer?
Oh wait, Joe. We could do this, Joe.
100
Let's do this.
$150.
Ready? So, Rachel, what is what do you say?
300.
John, what are you saying? John, have you been talking to the mic backwards this entire show? Please tell me you have. For the fun
That
of
was
it,
me talking backwards.
for the fun of it, just talk on the other side of that mic.
Well, then I have to spin
yeah, just
all the
move.
way
But
around.
we're gonna take them behind.
Now, is this better?
Remember when I said talking to that?
Well, I didn't buy this mic. I don't know how this thing works. Okay, I'll
God,
sit over
you
here and
sound-
not face you guys, and we'll do the
Whole
show like
show.
this. I don't need to see you. I don't even need to be in this room.
The whole why did it take me as a sound engineer though to go 53 minutes in? I might ask him this question.
I said it's backwards.
Normally, a microphone has a up and a down. This microphone is just.
God, you
how
sound
do you
so much
How
better.
do you know what's front and
Now go
what's
the
back?
other way. Go how you were talking.
Right here.
It'll pick it up. You're just gonna be
It
really.
just sounds muffly.
You're
and
gonna be
weak.
Well, if I get like this,
It was okay. Like it's
Muffled.
it's doable, but it is
you're a
the
little.
other way.
I mean, I understand that this thing has a front and a back now, but if you can hear the words that I'm saying, then what difference does it make?
Because it sounds way clear. I just no. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can feel free to talk in the back of that. I'm not.
The back side will sound like a lav mic. The front side will sound like you're doing ADR in a
Oh,
studio.
look, I can just spin it right here. Boom. How's that? Way better?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right,
Let's just start over.
Start over. Here we go.
Hit the button.
Welcome to the
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another
Joel
episode of
Zimmer,
Heffron and
that
Joel
guy.
Zimmer. Rachel Butera's back.
Hey, Rachel's back.
Rally Show's Fake or Real. It's called
Hey.
Ramping Up the Post
Hey.
and hitting the
Ramping
ramp,
up
talking up the post.
Hey, last comic
Talking up
was
the ramp.
Thanks again for listening
Last comic was
to
fake.
another episode.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Did you just end it?
Yeah, I started it and ended it right there. I thought I was just playing the game. I thought we were.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this. Ready? So Rachel said. Hold on.
Rachel said 300.
I'm going to kind of audition for Joel right here in case he has a game show.
Okay.
We're playing Guess How Much Money John and Joel made when they're doing the colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel said that she thinks we make about $300 a show. Well, John Reap thinks it was closer into the 700s or 800s.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately,
Are you going to go to the audience and see what the audience thinks?
audience, no, we don't have that.
It's like a phone call.
Oh, yeah, I think you guys made...
And we'll give you the answer a week from now.
Yeah. So, Rachel, John, one of you will be continuing on. The other one will unfortunately be going to go home.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's me because you laughed at my
Rachel.
number.
Are we
John?
going who's closest?
Over under.
I'm going to send one of them home now.
Can I switch my...
Rachel, how would it feel if I told you that I was going to talk to John right now? John,
Yes.
you gave an answer of 700.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say
Mm-hmm.
that Rachel,
Oh, back over here. It's your turn, Rachel.
you are staying. John, you are
What?
completely incorrect.
No!
Yes.
Then it was not a NACA event.
Oh my god.
That was not with the National Association
It
of
was
Campus
actually,
Activities.
to make a long story short, I think I made $75 a show.
I was gonna say 50, yo. I should.
No, Joel made, because Joel produced. All this stuff has led you to the position you're in now today, Joel. Do you realize that?
Yes, I
the
was
hosting
the
of the radio, the
road
managing
manager.
of the Crack Me Up show. But you made like $125 a show because you had to call the schools to let them know that we were 50 miles away.
I think you either made 125 or 150, and then I either made 175 or 200.
Now, so, okay, for the people listening that are like going, well, that's bullshit, 1%ers. I'd make $150. Listen, proportionally, it was so because the show probably made at a college, let's say $5,000.
Well, yeah, we would collect the check. Sometimes the college would accidentally give us the check and send it instead of sending it to
So
the
you would
booking
see-
agency,
Right.
and we're making like the three of us are making like $500 total,
and they're making $5,000.
and they were pulling in like $3,000 or $5,000.
You guys are getting
You're
ripped off. Yeah.
That's okay. We
You
stole some
guys
shirts.
keep getting
we were-
ripped
we were
off.
23.
The cards, the comedy. Why?
comedy, our
Why would you
podcast.
subject yourself to this kind of life?
I don't know,
Just
Rachel.
get a real job, would you?
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening.
That's it?
That's
This
it, huh?
is
man.
for this
Oh,
one. It's fun when we all
kinda
get back
petered
together.
out.
It is.
Right?
I had a lot of questions still, but that's all right.
We'll go back.
to it later.
You know what? Let's keep Joel for another hour, but right now let's stop down. We go back to our green room that we have set up here as we overlook the oceans of Malibu at our new Heffron and Reap and Butera studios.
Yes.
We can just lie about where we are.
We should totally lie.
Nobody
Well,
knows.
now that you just said
We
that.
just set up in the back end of a Kia, and nobody knows we're talking. Make sure you check out heffronandreap.com, and once again, we thank you for listening.
Go to heffronandreap.com for tour dates and great links. Hey, did you get that? It's heffronandreap.com. Go there now.